Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ALMA podcast, Archiving Latino Memories and Achievements, a podcast where we highlight local leaders and their stories. My name is Rigo Lomas, and I'll be your host for today. Our guest for this day, John Torres, who has been married for 24 years, proud father of 3, also a grandfather to 1 grandchild, but also has a second one on the way. Very excited about that.
Yep.
Professionally, John served as a program director for the Latino Initiative at City Ministry Network, where he's dedicated to developing leaders and strengthening communities. Please join us in welcoming John.
Yay. There's no laugh track or a clap track, huh?
We'll add that in post.
All right, cool.
Make sure we add that in
Sweet.
post.
Sweet. What's up, man? Thanks for having me. This is sick. When you called me, I was like, yeah, let's go. I've been wanting to do this forever. Yeah, I'm excited.
Very excited to have you here, John. And like you said earlier before we started recording, we've had a few different people from the Latino Leadership Initiative, LLI, here on the podcast, or we've at least been referencing it in every single episode.
Yeah.
So now we get to the guy who's behind the curtain, the guy running it all, the guy who's responsible for
the
this.
Mysterious Oz.
We're speaking to Oz. Exactly.
No, it's cool, man. Actually, I hope I got the years right. If I'm wrong, babe, 23, 24. It's only seemed 5 because it's been so short. Sorry, I got to say that before. She might listen to this. No, I'm just kidding. No, this has been great, man. And it's cool. You had Omero. He's amazing. And then to hear you guys with your intros was really cool. Yeah, I'm just really excited. This is like a full circle, like cool thing I saw starting within the cohort that you and Estella were in, like 2 different ones, of course, but it was really cool it's just cool to see it happen. And then I get to be a part of it. It's sick too. So let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And for our listeners, again, LLI, great program here in the Central Valley, and a lot of different professionals within the Valley have gone through the program. We've all learned a lot from John, from his peers who help us, who teach us during the program, but also, again, bringing it back to ALMA, each cohort, each student is supposed to come up with their own project. ALMA is pretty much the combination of mine and Estella's program and project ideas. So, again, we, the podcast, you listening, would not be here if it wasn't for John. Recognize that.
All right. That's fair. I don't know if that's fair, but I'll say I appreciate that. The way I promote it, you guys are already amazing. You guys are awesome. You guys have been crushing it. And it's literally us just kind of coming alongside you. So it's not just me. It's a team of people. I had a really great, amazing leadership team. I still have one, but Arevalo was a part of that. Cortez. They were all really great and helpful, and they just are amazing. And they're still a part. They still want to be involved, which is great. But yeah, you guys are the meat and potatoes, man. We're just like salt and pepper, maybe just kind of put a little bit on, a little tapatio on there or something.
We got to make it spicy.
Yeah, I got to make it a little spicy. But I appreciate that. Yeah. I wonder if should I share what LLI is?
Here, before we get into what LLI is, let's talk a little bit more about you. I did give you a little bit intro about you, but I do also want to get into a bit more of what brought John here. So let's talk about that. And then that will segue into what LLI is. Hey,
you're the boss, baby. I'm just here. I'm here for the ride. Yeah, so I've been here for over 20 years. My wife and I moved here. We got married super young, and we had kids pretty much instantly. I was an instant dad, getting married to my lady, and we both come from, we'll say, a history that's not always favorable. I don't know how to say that, but we'll just say that. At the time we moved out here, we had 2 kids. We had both our boys. Now, I've adopted my oldest. My middle son both my boys aren't biologically mine, but they're my sons. They've been my boys since I met them. And then we have a daughter that's biologically both ours. But yeah, we wanted to raise our kids away from where we were. So again, we were babies raising babies. So naivete, I don't know how you say it, but basically we were just thinking, if we get them away from, we'll say, big city life. It wasn't that big of a city. It was Fremont. So it's still Bay Area, but it's not like Oakland or San Ho. Anyways, we thought that if we moved somewhere else, it'd be a better place for us to raise our kids. And I think part of that, it worked and was true. But another part of that was, if you want to find trouble, you'll find it. Now, the beauty is I love Jesus, and Jesus has been the one that's kept my family afloat. Yeah, we've inputted things here and there, but in order to keep our kids out of trouble, I don't know if we had a lot to do with that, other than keeping them busy. That's one of the things. We'll just keep you busy. Sports, academics, those kind of things. But yeah, I loved, as soon as I got here, I was all about Modesto. My wife was not feeling it. She was like, "Nah, I'm cool. Let's go back." We moved here for a year, actually, and rented a place out over off of Dale, and then had to move back because we were commuting back and forth from the Bay, and we were both in retail. And so it's not, commuting for retail is crazy. That's crazy. You know what I mean? You're not making a lot of money that way. So it was like all our money was going into our cars, into rent and all that kind of stuff. So we ended up going back home and lived with her mom for a year, our whole family in one room. So it was me, my wife, and our 3 kids in one room.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we took that year to get our finances right, save up, all that kind of stuff. Funny story, you can ask me later if we have time. I actually ended up on Wheel of Fortune, the show, and I won. It was me and Mom week, and my mom and I went on. We won $2,000, so $1,000 a piece, and that's what I put down as a down payment on the house out here when we first moved out here. So it's a long story, but we could talk about it later. Yeah,
That's really fortunate.
yeah, it was. And that $1,000 we were able to put down. We were first time home buyers, so all that stuff worked out. The whole point of us moving out here was my wife was like, we need to buy something, and I didn't even know what home ownership looked like. I didn't know any of that. I don't come from that at all. And my wife, like I say all the time, she's the brains behind the outfit. She's the one that's gotten us to where we're at and had the ideas to do these things. And I just been like, okay, if you think we could do it, let's go. And she's been right. So we keep doing it. But yeah, I've loved it here a lot. Like Eddie, I heard Eddie is like, no, I love Modesto. I do too, man. There's something about it. The small town vibe. We're close to a lot of things. Hour and a half to snow, hour and a half to the beach. Now with traffic, it's a little longer, but yeah. And I just kind of like the chill of it. It's cool. I really enjoyed it.
Definitely. I love Modesto too, by the way, just real quick. I've been here, I think 7 years now. And
Oh yeah, you're from Hollister, right?
Hollister.
Hollister,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been here for 7 years, and people say Modesto's the besto. So
Yeah,
definitely
I ain't
is.
never heard that.
No?
I'm cool. I'll rock with that. Yeah,
No?
because normally it's meth desto or the cap. It's never good stuff, dog. I seen a sticker said Modesto more than just murder. And I was like, yeah, we are more than that. That is true. But no, honestly, the fabric and the relationship building that can happen in a town like this, or even in a county like this, is amazing. So I think I couldn't have been as impactful as I have been. I'll say me, I don't like that. But the fact that we can build relationship and then kick the ball forward has been something I've never seen before. Now, again, most of my life I've been here. So 46 years old. And so as an adult, all I know is Modesto, really. So I don't know what that looked like in Fremont, where I came from, or San Jose, where I was born and raised. I'm sure there's great people doing amazing things, but they're so big. To me, it'd be crazy. I don't know how they make things work there.
I want to touch a little bit more on your path into your career now. So you said that you moved out here the first time and you were working retail. So you and your wife, you were grinding, and you were working pretty much just to pay your rent, like you said, and then the gas to drive back and forth. When you came out here the second time, you said you had that a little bit of those funds. You were able to buy a house out here. But once you got here, how did you end up working for City Ministry Network?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've never considered myself a leader. Even I would say, as far as the work I do now, I was probably late 30s, 38, 39, when I went through the same program that you guys have gone through, but it was more of a faith-based one. And that's where I saw that I had these giftings and abilities to lead people. I've always been a hard worker. I figured if I work harder than anybody else and I just kept busting my butt to make it happen, it's like the jack of all trades. They're not going to fire the guy that knows how to do all the things. They come in and find someone better at this. It's cool. I can do these other 4 things really well. And so I always have done that. My wife too. Actually, a little short story or example. We were actually, when we were commuting, I was working nights, she was working days. We would stop on the Altamont and then transfer kids over and then go our separate ways. So the first 10 years of our lives was a lot. A lot. By the grace of God that we made it through it all. We had some really good mentors in our lives, and now we just love young marrieds and want to see married people be successful, right? It was a rough 10 years. Anyways, all that to be said, we both worked really hard. I kept getting promoted. I'd get the next step up. So started at the warehouse, from there got onto the floor to stock shelves, and then from there became a cashier to a line lead, and then a line lead to a assistant manager, not assistant manager, like a shift supervisor. I just kept doing that. But I didn't know I was leading. I simply was like, hey, I just gotta work hard and I'll be okay. But I kept getting these positions. When we came out here, there was at the time I worked for, it used to be called Long's. It's now CVS. I'm dating myself, but whatever. So from there I ended up working for a coffee chain out here. I don't know if I can say, you're not supposed to promote things, so I don't know. But anyways, there's a big coffee chain out here that I started working with, and I was a store assistant manager with that, and then worked my way up to store manager. So I did that for years and years. But again, I didn't know what it meant to be a leader, and candidly, I lost my job because of it. So I didn't know how to explain how to lead people or how to hit certain numbers or marks. I didn't know how to read charts, things like that. I just told myself, if I keep my customers happy and my employees happy, then everything else should fall in line. That made sense to me. And it did. We were one of the most successful stores in the area for the size we were, that kind of stuff. But I couldn't explain why I was able to do that. And so when my management came and said, hey, my district manager, why is this, that, and whatever? It's like, I'm hitting all my numbers. And she's like, yeah, but why or how? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just doing these couple things. And because I couldn't explain myself, they just didn't think I was a manager. I don't know. It's a long story, but candidly, what ended up happening is I came in at a higher price. What is that payment rate? So I think they were trying to cut the fat and get rid of like these older managers that make a lot of money so they can hire younger people that can make less money, but could do the same job. That's what my wife tells me, probably to protect my ego, but, and I'll use it, but no, it's all for good. Right. So that happened. And then I ended up getting demoted at my work and started to get less hours. But at the same time, my wife had opened up her own business as a licensed daycare provider. She started crushing. So then as my financial stability went down, hers went up. But the beauty of it is, as soon as we got together, it wasn't like we were trying to keep things separate. Everything was together. We were just a team right out the gate, which I don't know where that came from either, but we just jumped in both feet, making it happen. As I was not bringing the bacon, I'm only bringing Spam home now. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't affording the bacon. She was baking waffles, whatever, steak, eggs, all that stuff. And the beauty of that was I was able to, one, never made me feel bad about it. That was a big thing. As a Latino, which I have a lot of issues with all that imposter syndrome stuff, but as a Latino, you're told that you're the man, you got to provide, all that kind of stuff. And she never once made me feel less than that. If anything, she made me feel even more like the head of the house or whatever it was, whatever you want to call it. She just was amazing. Was able to get more time to serve with my church at the time. And then Love Modesto is where it was Big Valley. And so Love Modesto came out of Big Valley. I was interning with Jeff Pishney, who runs Love Modesto now, or Love Stanislaus. Long story longer. I worked for him for about 1.5 years. I just served with him. He didn't pay me or anything like that. I was just an intern. And then after about 1.5 years, almost 2, he said, I can't let you keep working for me for free. You do everything I need you to do. You're giving up all this time. I know you can be more impactful to certain things. I need to introduce you to somebody. And so he introduced me to a gentleman named Marvin Jacobo, which is my boss now. And he's the one that actually put together the Latino Leadership Initiative, which we'll talk about maybe. Met with him, connected with him, but we were both at Youth for Christ at this time. I became, I'll say, the youth pastor for a small church group in West Modesto. And that's me, dude. The knuckleheads of the community, that was your boy, dude. I'm still a knucklehead, but I just fell in love with those kids. I was really new to my faith and excited about teaching and all that kind of stuff. And so did all that. Well, Marvin ended up leaving Youth for Christ to start City Ministry Network. I stayed with Youth for Christ for another couple of years, then moved from there to be the youth pastor at my now church, Redeemer. So I did that for about 5 to 6-ish years. And then from there moved to City Ministry Network and now do the work that I'm doing. Sorry, that was long.
No, it's a podcast. It has to be long.
All right, fair enough.
That's what we want to hear. So again, you're just touching on a lot of different things. And I think send this to the rest of the crew. We might need to do an episode 2 with John, because it seems like there's a lot of info here.
Oh man.
But
let's see how many views we get on this. Then you can invite me back. If it's 4, me, my wife, and my kids, so 5, maybe we just skip that.
Maybe you just have it on replay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I like it.
You mentioned you were pretty much a leader without really knowing that you were being a leader.
Oh, 100%.
And in a way where you couldn't really even explain how you were leading.
No.
And this, I think, because LLI is a big component, I do definitely want to make sure we address it. Maybe we use this as a little bit of a segue into that, because you went from being that person that's a leader in action, but not so much in teaching, to now being pretty much one of the main people that is directly developing and teaching those same skills to upcoming leaders.
Oh man, that's a lot of credit.
Hey, we got to recognize it's why you're here.
All right.
Imposter syndrome, we'll come back to that later.
Yeah, I'm fighting it tough right now, dude. I'm fighting it tough.
But talk a little bit about that transition and how you are bringing what you learned there into LLI. And then we'll, like I said, transition that into explaining what LLI is. Yeah,
for sure. I can, there is a strong line between all of it. One of the big things we do for LLI, the very first session, the teaching session is a strength finders assessment. And basically it's showing the people of the cohort what their strengths are, that they are strengths and abilities, and then capitalizing on that, using your strengths to elevate your weaknesses. So for the longest time, dude, I've always been able to talk in front of people, never had an issue with that. Interviews are super chill. I can facilitate a room very easily. I tend to ask really good questions, but that's the way I learn. I don't have a lot of stuff on my wall that says, hey, you graduated this, you promoted from that, those kind of things. I learned from the streets. Dude, in the beginning, I learned from the streets. And so figuring out what that looked like, and you have to ask the right questions. One, so you don't look like you're suspicious. But the other one is just, I want to learn more, right? And so what I found was I can read, I can write, all that kind of stuff, but I don't retain information very well when I read. And so when I was in school, that just meant I was stupid. That's what teachers would say, or they would just kind of write me off.
That's how they would interpret it.
Yeah. And sitting there with people or making connections. And then of course, I'm a class clown. I'm a jokester. I make jokes all the time. I laugh a lot, double down on that, and then pretend like I didn't care. You know what I mean? But really, I was like, man, I know I'm not dumb. I know what's going on. I'm not giving my wallet out for wallet checks. You know what I mean? Your boy knows what's up. It wasn't until literally my late 30s that I was able to put information or knowledge behind the wisdom that is me, that I've been made. The Lord gave me these things. They come innate. It's just really easy when it comes. And so I always thought, because I think poorly of myself and any imposter syndrome stuff, all those things, I just thought everybody could do it. If I can talk to anybody, then who am I, dude? Anybody could do this. And then come to find out, nah, man, I didn't know that. So you're shaking your head. No, yeah, exactly. So when we were with LLI, what I started to see was that the two biggest fears in the world, it's public speaking and death is what I've heard. And in that order, they'd rather die than speak publicly.
Yes. Yeah.
So I didn't know that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that all day, man. I could do that till the whatever. And learning that what I was good at were gifts, that was really helpful for me in my leadership growth and knowledge. And again, like the guys I work with, Marvin, Mike, the mentors in my life, John Britton, just a bunch of people that have invested in me and said, no, dude, what you do is not, most people can't do that. And I'm like, nah, dude, there's no way that's the thing. And so the more I start to dive into that and trust my friends and my colleagues and my mentors, and even you, I learned so much from you guys, like within the cohort. I'm learning just as much as you guys are, if not more, from you guys, which has been great. And it's the whole idea of just learning off of each other, hearing stories, learning more about what Rigo does and what Estella does, or even the speakers that we have come in, right? Like learning more about the city. Joe Lopez comes in and shares, and Maria Revelo does a great job with that. And it's just a matter, that's how I learn. And for the longest time, I thought I was a big dummy and I couldn't read to learn. And so now the script has been flipped. It's game on. And so my big thing is, how do I encourage others, right? Like we do a pretty extensive like interview process. We go through people. It's very word of mouth, which we're trying to expand on that. But it's been great because it's dope people like yourself or the crew for the ALMA podcast that are like, you should go check out LLI. Then all of a sudden we get more and more. Dope people usually hang out with dope people. If you're whack, dude, you're not going to get to roll with, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know you. I don't know you.
Yeah, come on, no, you got to keep moving. No, that sounds horrible, but it's partly true. Like it's hard to hang out with someone that's not doing what you're doing, not in any good way or bad way. A lot of fish swim in the same pond and together in schools and stuff, whatever. Yeah, to be able to be a part of this and see things like this, you're giving me a lot of credit and I appreciate it. And I'm not going to be a blessing blocker. So thank you for those compliments. But man, it's a team effort. It's the leadership team. It's the people that come and speak. They give up their time. We don't have a lot of money, so we don't give stipends. They see something. And I don't think it's LLI. I think it's the people of LLI. So I think what we do well is find dope people like yourself, dope people like everybody a part of this, Andrea, everybody, right? And then we just come alongside you and go, no, you're crushing. You're killing it, dude. Keep it up. Or, okay, watch out for that. There's going to be a landmine up there or a roadblock here. This is how you go around it if you want to, that kind of stuff. So it's more of we say a guide alongside rather than a sage on stage. So yeah, that's kind of, a nutshell, maybe.
Yeah. And the program is how long again?
It's 8 months. So it starts in January, it ends in August. The first one's orientation. The August one is the action plan presentation and the graduation. And July 2 is the big one, which is actually next weekend. So I'm neck deep in action plans right now, reading through them, helping them out, trying to figure out what could be helpful, that kind of stuff.
Don't say that. I feel like I just graduated.
Yeah, dude,
It's already another class.
You're 2 years out, right?
Yeah.
You weren't last year, either before, right? Yeah. So Yeah, it's crazy, but it's fun, man. It's a blessing, dude, to be a part of something like this. It's been crazy. And then like I said, I get to hang out with dope people like yourself. We all hang out. We go, whatever. You guys come to my shows, which is cool. We hang out, have drinks. It's just fun to be around like-minded people that want to do good work in their community and that are dope, man. You guys are dope. I just love being with you guys. It's fun.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
One thing I've been wanting to ask you for a long time is you just have this energy. And for context for our listeners, we're recording. It's currently 6:10 p.m. on a Monday. John and I both put a full day's worth of work in. We're in a small podcast room right now recording this. And this is after 4th of July weekend. This is after Sunday's unfortunate loss of the Mexico World Cup team.
Heartbreaking, dog.
Heartbreaking. So all of which to say, energy's a little low. Energy's a little low. We're both a little tired.
Yeah.
But to that, and this is what I wanted to ask you about, is you just always seem so full of energy, and so much so that the people around you, I think, feed off of that energy.
Oh, man.
So I myself, just for context, I've been staying a little quiet because I want to make sure that you speak, you share your truth and everything, but I'm all smiles over here. And right before I walked in, I was feeling a little tired and everything, but the second I see John, right away, I just got 8 hours worth of sleep.
Wow.
So again, going back to, you are now the one that's imparting your knowledge into all the new leaders. You're also kind of showing this like boundless amount of energy that just says, I got you. Let's face it together. And you don't know how much respect I have for you specifically, the people like you who are able to exude that energy. But what I want to know, long-winded, is how do you do that? Like, how do you... I'm sure you have your own stressors. You shared them a little bit earlier in your backstory and everything, but like, how are you so good at either compartmentalizing or just letting go of that stuff and just being like the very happy, energetic John that you always are?
Meth Desto. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. No, you know what? So honestly, this kind of stuff, this brings me life. So I'm an extreme extrovert. Getting around people really fills my cup. I have noticed me and my wife, we're not extreme opposites. We've grown closer. She's more of an introvert, but she's really good at doing extroverted stuff. But yeah, I find joy in this, man. And then again, I get to hang out with Rigo. I haven't hung out with you in a cool minute, right? So it's like, it's just us chilling. So that brings me life and joy as well. And I think, again, one of the gifts or abilities that God's given me is my ability to gather people. And so in that, I search for that. I want to catch the energy, whatever that is. And it's just us three. But still, I was excited to be a part of this. So that's a part of it, right? And then there's a piece that I feel like I saw it from its takeoff state and like all these things. And so now I get to be in here behind the scenes and a part of it. That's cool. But yeah, I couldn't tell you where that comes from. I don't think I know where that comes from. But I have noticed in my longevity that I do need a little more rest than I used to. I used to want to go and go and go. And then when my wife's, we need to just relax. Let's lay down. Let's watch soccer, even though that's get you pumped stuff too, right? But I found that's really helpful for me to sharpen my saw. I don't know who says that, but if I don't.
John says that.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
John says that.
John says that. But to be able to give myself time to rest so that I can do this without being tired or exhausted and stuff like that. But yeah, today was a bit of a day because I'm reading a bunch of action plans and going through all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this kind of stuff is just different, man. It brings me life and joy and excitement. And anytime I get to do anything with you guys, like alumni, or even when I go into the sessions, yeah, I'm like, dude, okay, it's a Saturday. It's been a long week. But once things get moving, oh man, it's just, here we go. So maybe it's just, I'm good at these things. And so when I get to do them, when you're good at something and you do it, you kind of get energy from that. Maybe it's that. I think the big thing for me though, is being vulnerable enough to now say that I'm good at it. Where before I wouldn't say that, I would coy or shy away from it and be like, nah, I'm not. I wouldn't have received that. And I don't think that's fair to you guys or to you specifically, like just us in this room, for you to say that. It fills my heart with joy. It's honoring that you even think that about me, right? And so for me to be like, no, it's not real, whatever, that's whack, dude. I ain't trying to do all that. And I used to do that a lot, and I still fight it a lot because I don't want to become arrogant or full of myself. It's one of my biggest fears. I don't want to be the guy that can't wear these headphones because my head's too big. You know what I'm saying? I want to be as real as I can with, especially people I like and I care about. You know what I mean? And that's, I guess that's the beauty of LLI. Once you come through the crew, man, you're locked in. But I appreciate the compliment. And I do see that. I do feel it. but that's a part of what I do well, right? And so even as you were saying, the knowledge I bring to the cohort, it's funny, I don't really think of myself as knowledgeable within LLI. It's more of me being a facilitator and putting the right people together, which is a gift in itself. But because I've done this so many years, I'm just reverberating what they said. And I take that nugget, and now that becomes my little utility belt capsule that I can put out and give to others and things like that. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. I don't think it did.
No, I think you kind of did. It was a lot of, we got to accept that we sometimes need to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And you touched on it earlier too. Again, wealth of knowledge, but the whole going back to our Latino roots, you got to be the macho, you got to be the provider. You can't ever say I'm tired. You can't ever say I'm not feeling 100%, because you, as the quote unquote head of the household, the second you do that, then you're less of a man, or then you're not doing right by your family and all that stuff.
There's also that piece. I don't know if I feel like it's very deep in Latino culture, but we can talk about that later, because I've always never been brown enough. And I used to hang out with just white guys out in the Bay. Those were the homies. And they're still really good friends, but I was never white enough and I was never brown enough. I don't speak Spanish. And so there was a lot of that in me that, even going into leading the Latino Leadership Initiative, it's like, can I do that? I can't even speak Spanish, dude. What the heck? It's just all these things. But one of the big things for me is, you got family that's, oh, you think you're all bad now because you're the boss, or you got the team leader, or you think you're all bad. It's no, dude. I'm just trying to do well. And so, although I will say I feel like that is more of that's not happening like it used to anymore. I think that the old guard was like that. And there's a lot of, I guess I'm the old man now, the 46 and up and stuff. We're more, I'd like to think that a lot of us are more about encouraging you guys and ladies and men to come in and fill these spots, because we trust you guys. We're proud of you guys. There's all these things that come with that. I'd like to think that's the case. I'll say that for me is one of the big things is, man, I'm just really proud of you guys for what it's worth, and getting past I'm not worried about people saying whether I'm good or not, or you think you're all bad or that, but it does still sit in the back of my head. That's why I was like, I don't want to get a big head, because I don't want to think I'm all bad because I got the vest now, or I'm freaking the team leader or whatever.
Yeah, no, I relate to you a lot there, just because my family, my dad, he's been here he immigrated to the U.S. back when he was 17, pretty much been here ever since. The guy's 55 now.
Wow.
And every single day was just working.
Yeah.
Pretty much on his own. And he eventually, like somewhere in his 30s, got into construction. He's out there working the roads, working out in the heat, the rain, all that stuff, up and down California. He knows the state like the back of his hand.
Yeah,
he doesn't need a map.
Yeah, turn at the house with the yellow. Yeah, that was funny. I was listening.
You go 2 miles down whatever road. Once you see the house with the apple tree, you make a right.
If there's a dog out front, that's the wrong house. Go to the next one.
Exactly. That's 16-year-old me. Once I got my license. Yeah, that's how he would give me directions, and I'd be like, hey, I have no idea.
Yeah. It doesn't say that on Google Maps, Dad. What am I supposed to do with this?
No.
It doesn't say the yellow house on the right.
And he'd look at me like, what do you mean? What do you mean? But to get back to the point real quick, he worked in construction. His brothers, all three of his siblings, they all work in construction. Most of my cousins, my male cousins from my generation, they've also fallen into working in construction. Yeah. Which is great. Union job. They make more money than I do. Sure. I'm happy for them. Yeah. But there is that kind of, whenever we talk about work, whenever we get together, I feel like I'm a little detached from it, or like I can't, not detached, but can't relate to it because I didn't really work that. They'll be talking about, oh yeah, I had to put in this pipe and blah, blah, and almost crushed my hand trying to do it. Or I was down in a 12-foot trench and all that stuff. And it sounds great. It sounds fun. They all know it. I just kind of hear the stories. And then when I'm trying, and they're all telling me about those struggles, and I'm like, yeah, man, our AC went out the other day and it was like 80 degrees outside, man. That sucked. That sucked.
Dude, suffering out here, dog.
It's suffering, man. So, and then you get that look of like, I've been working outside all summer in 100+ degree weather. What do you mean your AC went down for 2 days?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, there is that imposter syndrome of, am I even doing work? Is what I'm doing even valid? Yeah. And then, but you also don't want to give yourself too much credit to what you were saying earlier, because then you're the big old, I'm the one that I'm doing this job. I'm cush. I'm sitting on a nice and comfy chair. I'm just looking at a screen all day, clicking away on my keyboard, and you're outside doing all this hard work. Because I definitely don't see it that way, but I don't want them to think that's how I see it. Project that onto them.
I think, dude, so a lot of things I'm starting to realize the older I get is they're not, nothing's, it's not always better than or worse than. It's just different. You know what I mean? So I couldn't do those jobs. I probably could if I tried, but I haven't been in the trades and for a long time. And I'm not one that works with his hands very well. I like to keep my nails clean. And my shoes usually match my shirt, like all that kind of stuff. Right. And I have mad respect for people that work with their hands. I think it's a lost art. I think it's a trade that we need to get our students into more. Honestly, that's probably where I should have fallen under is work because I'm creative in that way, but I was never trained or taught. I don't know how I ended up where I'm at, to be honest, but all that to be said, I don't think one's better or one's worse. I think they're both needed. The people that you impact with what you're doing with your work, you can't really put a price on that, or you can't really, it's important. It's needed work, but the work that they're doing, same thing. But yeah, sometimes it's our own stuff. Maybe they aren't thinking like that, but we instantly put that on them. They probably think I'm whack because I'm over here talking about 80-degree weather and they're 102 on a roof or laying asphalt or whatever. So I feel you. I've struggled with that my whole life.
Exactly. So how do you work on your imposter syndrome?
Okay. That's a great question, actually. I don't know if I work on it. I think it's leaning into other people that tell you that you're good. Okay. I'll give you an example. I started a band, right? You've come and seen me perform, and I have a hard time with feeling like I'm good, but yet I keep doing it. And I wouldn't receive people's, oh man, you did great, or that was good, or whatever. And instead of, I have this little, I haven't shared this. This is a deep cut. I have this little devil that speaks. And I didn't hear it from a long time since high school. But in high school, I used to think that all my friends only liked me because they felt bad for me. And so they only hung out with me because they felt bad for me. They felt guilty, whatever. We just got to take care of this little brown kid or whatever. And so for the longest time, I felt like that. And then at some point that went away. And then it came back up literally like a year ago, if that. Of people are out here watching you perform because they just like you and they're just trying to be nice. And so I struggled with that for a while. And really it's self-reflection, I guess is where I'm getting at. Okay, why am I feeling that way? What does that look like? And what if that's the case? What if that truly is the case, that people feel bad for me and they want to come support me? Is that so bad? That's not even that bad. You know what I mean? The fact that they care about me and want to come out and support. It's the band. Candidly, I surround myself by dope people. Just like LLI, I surround myself by awesome people. And then I end up, you guys elevate me. So that's what the band is. My band's really good. They can pick up songs like that. And all I do is sing. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Let's do this. It's trusting other people, putting people in your life that will speak truth to you, right? And not like just yes men, or which is again comes with that big head. You can start surrounding yourself by people that will continue to keep your head inflated. And I think that's dangerous. Having good trusted relationships where brothers or sisters or whatever, just be like, yo, I think you might be off a little bit. Maybe you should kind of kick back, or like, and being able to receive that. And I think that helps. But I will say I still struggle with it, which makes me feel bad because I know a lot of the people through LLI, they have their issues too. And I wish if I knew how to, like a secret pill or a ritual to do so you would snap away, I would tell you guys in a heartbeat. But it's just work and process and not believing lies like that little enemy, that little devil that wants to tell me I'm not worthy or I'm not good. So no, I'm good. I'm doing all right. Keep it up. Keep working through it. It's hard in community work too, though. Tough. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, it's the lies that we tell ourselves are the hardest to fight back against.
100%. Especially the ones you tell yourself, because those don't come from the outside. You can capture the ones from the outside and muffle them. The ones from inside, man, they just bounce around in my dome, like
just in there.
Yeah, and it's hard to shake and get rid of. So I don't know if I have an answer for that, but I'd say don't surround yourself by good people that you trust, that you care about, that care about you. They'll probably help you stay out of the muck. And then, yeah, receive the compliments. I don't remember who it was that told me this. Chew it like it's cud. So I think it's cows that chew and they don't really swallow certain things or something like that. I can't remember. Maybe a better analogy would be gum. Chew the gum, don't swallow it, spit it out. That's a better analogy. There you go.
This will probably segue us here to the end a little bit more. But one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast was because growing up over in Hollister at that time, probably still now, if you're just eyeballing it, it just feels like it's 50-50, either white or Hispanic.
Okay.
There are other populations there, but they're very small in comparison.
Sure.
And while I was going to school there, while I was going to high school there, all of my teachers, all the professionals I'd see, none of them looked like me. So I knew I was going to go to college because my parents would always tell me, you're going to go to college.
Yeah.
Did they know what that meant? No. My parents, they went to school in Mexico. My dad made it to, I think, the 9th grade. My mom stopped going to school after the 5th grade.
Wow.
But they would always say, because they would be told from people at the school, your kids need to go to college. That's how they eventually would then progress themselves, is you would go to college, you would go to college. Mind you, I didn't even know how to apply to college. I didn't know I had to move out for college.
You're the oldest too, huh?
I'm the oldest,
Yeah.
yeah. And I didn't know I had to pick a major. So this is me junior year having to apply for colleges, and they're like, what do you want to study? And I was like, I don't know. I'm going to college. I'm going to study what they teach me. And they're like, oh, no, you got to pick a path. And I don't want to get too much into this because it's the John show right now, but
I love it.
I was always pretty good at math, history, most of the sciences. And one random day in my math class, just to show how much I'm into it, I took math my senior year. You only need to take it up until junior.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I'm going to take a fourth year math. I love this stuff.
All right.
So I was sitting there in my class, and then
Nerd.
randomly one of a Hispanic teacher walks in. A Latino teacher walks in and comes in, grabs this big old box with all the iPads that we had, and then took them away. And I asked my teacher, Mr. Gosh, I can't even remember his name, but I asked him, like, who was that teacher? He's, I can't remember what the guy's name was either, but he said that's one of our special needs math teachers. And that, up until that point, was the first Latino math professional I had seen in my life. And then something clicked, and I was like, oh, I could study that then. And it's a lot of, we can achieve a lot. We can achieve various different things, but we need to know we can get there. We need to know somebody else already went there. Quick little side note. Was it Tony Hawk? He did the 900 back when he was real big in the 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
And that was a big achievement. And everybody was like, whoa, that's crazy. Nobody has ever done that before. Nobody will ever do it again. Now you see Tony Hawk do an interview and talk about that. He's like, yeah, kids are doing that left and right. Now they're doing over thousands.
Yeah.
It's just the knowledge that the 900 is possible, then you can do the 1,000 and up. So the same thing here is, I can study math. I can go into STEM. And then the next person that sees me says, oh, Rigo went into STEM. I can go into...
What is STEM again?
It's science, technology, engineering, and math.
Okay. I heard you mention it last on one of the other pods, and I was like, I know that, but I couldn't remember. Thank you.
So it's that. It's going into the sciences pretty much. And that's why I wanted to have you here, because for as much stuff as you do out there, I don't think you talk about yourself enough. And I think you have a story that opens doors or opens possibilities for other people.
Interesting.
They realize, I can do this. I can do that. You mentioned earlier the whole not feeling if you're Latino. There's a lot of us who feel that way, whether it be because we were born here and not in Mexico, whether it be because we don't speak Spanish, whether it be because we're quote unquote whitewashed. A lot of different factors in there, but you can still cheer. You can still be happy or sad about the results of the Mexico game.
Yeah, dog. Exactly.
You can still be proud of who you are. You can still be proud of your culture. You can still acknowledge the faults in your culture, and you can still achieve so much. And again, like for those of us who are like, I like to sing. I don't think I'm really comfortable joining a band or getting up in front and singing in front of everybody. Again, John says you can do it because he did it.
I don't know. Yeah. So I think, thank you. I appreciate that. I think my one of my biggest things, dude, is just being an encourager. I think that helps. I didn't get a lot of that when I was younger. I don't think. Maybe I did. Maybe that's where it came from. But I listen to other people's stories. I don't know where my family came from. A lot of my family's dead now. And so I really don't have a history. I don't know what small town I come from. I don't know I'm like third or fourth generation here. A lot of why Spanish isn't with me is my grandma on my dad's side, which I don't have a relationship with him. She didn't want any of her kids to have accents because at the time we're light skinned. If we stay out of the sun, we're light skinned. So we could pass as Italian, and Italians were far more liked than Mexicans at the time. Right. So it was like this idea of my culture was taken from me without me even knowing for 3 generations ago. And then I don't know where I'm from, and no one really knows our background. No one, and none of my family really. So I think encouragement is a huge thing. I think, yeah, it's good to see people that look like we do that are doing it, or look like you do that are doing it. That's helpful. But I think it's more than just seeing that. It's being able to talk to the people and ask them, how did you do this? Or what were some of the roadblocks? Is there some systemic racism things that I need to be aware of that I just don't know? Revelo talked about it in hers about those things that are still around, but we just don't realize because they're just there. They've been there. But I think encouragement is a huge thing. I'm always down to encourage other people, especially like now in the arts. That's been really cool. I'm starting to find that more people that are far more gifted than I am in music they just don't have an outlet. And so it's, whoa, I can provide an outlet. I can get people to gather. So it's using my powers for good and not evil, right? With great power comes great responsibility. So I'm out here trying to get my Spider-Man on and make sure that people get the opportunity to do their things. And again, I think that's why LLI fits so well. I wish I could tell you that it was because of all the good work I did, that it was that. And I'm sure there's a path to that. But ultimately, my heart is, man, if I can encourage amazing people to continue to do the amazing work that they're doing, let's do that. And I think so far that's been working for us. CMN, Marvin's very good at it. Mike is very good at it. Carlos, he's a part of the team. He's really good at it. And we're really good encouragers. And we believe in people. And that's especially people wanting to do good work. Man, let's go. We'll help you as much as we can.
And that, I think, is a really good way to wrap us up here. Just, again, wise words from John.
I didn't even swear. I didn't say one bad word. I'm so proud of myself. Yeah, definitely should be. So I guess before I wrap up, one quick thing. We'll make sure that obviously before this episode airs, we'll put a post on our Instagram. We'll definitely put in there some information about LLI for anybody who's interested. Yeah, please do.
Reach out. It's a great program.
Graduation's coming up too. So if people want to come join and check it out, that's a great place for you to kind of see what we're doing. So I can get you that information, when it is, where it's at, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. We'll go ahead and for everybody, you can go ahead and check it out on the podcast Instagram page.
Oh, I got a podcast coming out too. Actually, I do, for real. I want you guys to be a part of it. So me and my buddy are doing it. It's called the JVB Collaborative. And so our goal is with our pod is to try to give flowers to those that don't normally get them. And it's talking about cool stuff that people are doing in the community, which this is one of those things that I just am. So we'll have to trade off on pods and go back and forth. So I'll be hitting you up soon, and then we'll share listeners.
That'll be fun. To close us out here, our listeners know we always like to end with a quote, and we did come with one prepared, but I really like that you brought up the "with great power comes great responsibility."
Yeah, let's go.
I think we'll go ahead and end us here with that. It's, again, like John mentioned, if you're in these positions of power, if you're in these positions where you have the knowledge, you have the opportunity to support others, be mindful of it. Use the energy to help others. Use it to pay it forward to the next generation, just like, again, John has been doing this entire time.
Thanks, man.
So, again, just a great big thank you for you, John. Thank you for coming in. Also, just very last minute, bringing up the energy here like you always do.
Oh, man. Thanks for having me, man. This is sick, dude. I'm really excited for you guys. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, real excited and get this podcast out there. We'll see if we get more than 4 views. You already heard it, everybody. John says we need to get over 4 or 5 views.
Yeah, let's go.
Make sure he comes in for a second episode.
And subscribe. What do they say? All that kind of stuff, right?
And comment and subscribe.
Yeah, all that.
Exactly. But with that, we'll say goodbye, everybody. We'll see you all the next one.
See ya.